Hello, everybody. Welcome back to another episode of the Ramos Law Difference Makers podcast, where I get the unique, special, and incredible opportunity to meet with super amazing people every single week and then share those stories with you. And today, I have a real treat for you. This is a person whose story, albeit a young story, is an impactful and incredible story. And in fact, this guest is making a difference in our lives here at Ramos Law every single day. So I am super happy and super proud to have as my guest on the show today, Mr. Rami-Joe Najd. Welcome, my friend.
Thank you. Thank you. It's a pleasure to be here.
I'll tell you what, you are so fascinating to me because I can't believe that you're only in your early 20s. Did you even turn 22 yet?
Not yet, in 1 month.
1 month, 22. So we have a 21-year-old, and I consider you like what you do for us. You're our digital marketing expert. You're our specialist.
Yeah.
And we realized at the law firm that we needed someone like you because we knew the importance of digital marketing, and we tried to work it through at first with us internally, and none of us had the skill set that we needed. And then we went to an agency, and they did a fine job for us. They did great work for us. But at some point as a business, we evolved to say, man, we need a specialist. And of all the people we interviewed and all the things that we went through, along with a great advisor and mentor to us, Eddie Malouf, you showed up. So tell us, first of all, a little bit about yourself, especially I think people are going to get a kick out of where you came from. You're the farthest relocation hire that we've ever had. So take the floor. Give us a little bit about you, Rami-Joe.
So I grew up in Lebanon. And I knew my passion for marketing at my first year of college. So as everyone, you go into college, you don't know what you want to do, like you're a bit lost. And especially if you don't have enough guidance of like what you really want to do, not what the society wants you to do, it's a bit tough to find your voice and to find your passion, you know? So my first year I went into engineering, and I directly knew that this wasn't me.
Right away. You could feel it.
Yeah. Like the energy, you know, like you feel that you're not being yourself. And you know, you always have to see yourself in 10 years and where you want to be in 10 years or 15 years, you know. And if you see yourself doing this, then you're on the right path. But if you don't see yourself doing this for the rest of your life, then you know something must change. And I had this blessing of having this, knowing this at an early age, at an early stage as well. So that's where I shifted to business and marketing, and that's where everything changed. And it is something I'm really passionate about, and I do with my whole heart, you know, because it's really interesting and there's no limit. You don't have any limits. And back to growing up in Lebanon, I studied at the American University of Beirut, and growing up in Lebanon is really nice, you know. It's fun. People there are really friendly. They are very loving. So it's a nice place to grow up in, you know, because you're exposed to many things, to many people, to different diversity of people, you know. So you grow up very open-minded, you know, not limited to one thing. And my family definitely play a major role in my life. They've always been there for me, and they are very supportive and very, you know, caring for everything you want to do. And you know, once you have the support system that tells you I will love you and I'm with you in whatever you want to do, you know you're on a boost to your life.
I want to sit there for just a minute.
Yeah.
Your parents, I know that they're very special in your life, and you know, I got to say, you had lots of opportunities and we had lots of opportunities, and it was just this beautiful mesh. But you and your family had to come to this decision to make a commitment to move from Lebanon to Denver, Colorado, you know, 21 years old, just getting it figured out, just graduating from college, doing very well. Two-part question. Number one, what are the major cultural differences that you see between Lebanon and the US for our listeners? What would be the major things that you'd be like, this gets done a lot different here than it does in Lebanon? That's the first part. The second part is on your family. Obviously, your support is there. You've already mentioned that, and they love you and they're behind you. I'd be interested to know, because your family also is really active, right? In the Lebanon society, in the culture, very, very active. And so just how all of that played together in you growing up.
Yeah, so there's no much difference, because for me it was different experience. Like, I'm living here on my own, and I used to live with my parents. And as I said, like, they've always supported me, and they always supported my decision. And the nice thing is they believed in my decisions, and they believed in me, and they knew that we can like, he can take care of himself, So this is a really good feeling to know that they trust you and they know how much like good you can do, So yeah, moving here, it was definitely a big move, like almost 24 hours in a plane, and but whatever you need to do to grow and to do your thing, So
what was your biggest adjustment so far? I mean, you've been here with us for 4 months now?
4 months almost, yeah.
And what's been the biggest adjustment that you've, obviously, I mean, I know you have a dog that you absolutely love and your family that you love. So not being in that environment, but has there been anything that you've really been like, wow, I wasn't necessarily expecting this?
Yeah. So I've always been like more independent, like, I just took care of myself, and I like this. I like to do this. So coming here, like, you have to take care of everything, and you have to do everything on your own. So it is challenging, and it is overwhelming, especially like new job, new city, new people, new friends. Like, you have the pressure from all sides, but eventually you'll have to manage, and that's life basically. Like, you'll go through different things, and you'll have to experience different stuff. So if you didn't rely on yourself and on your abilities to do these things, like, you can't do anything, because these are the roots of everything that you do, like these skills that you gain in the process, and they will help you, like, in whatever you do. So I'm ready for anything now.
Yes, you are. And in fact, Rami-Joe, for those in the audience, I call him RJ sometimes, but Rami-Joe is what we really typically go by. You've gone through adversity before, and when you were at home, medically, if you wouldn't mind talking about the scoliosis stuff, it was remarkable to me. Athlete and going through your process, and as a really young guy, you get scoliosis, which is obviously something that in my chiropractic training, I'm very familiar with what that is and what it can do and how it can really affect someone's life. Talk a little bit about that situation, the scoliosis, what you went through and what you learned from that to bring you, because you're at 21, you're incredibly mature, man. Like, in a sense of self-awareness and in a sense of personal development. I don't see many 21-year-olds like you. So
Thank you.
What part did that whole thing play?
Yeah, this definitely played a major role in my life. I was 14 years old. That's when we discovered that I had like a severe scoliosis. And 14 years old, middle school, going into high school and playing in the basketball team and at school and all of these, then suddenly like everything will change. So I was 14 years old, and the doctor told me, like, you need an operation. It's the only way, because it was 45 degrees, and that's severe.
That's huge, huge severe curve, 45 degrees.
Yeah, 45 degrees, like an S,
Yes.
So we went to many, like the best doctors in Lebanon, and they all told us the same thing until we found one who was willing to try like a brace, like a back brace. But he wasn't, like, he told us, like, I'm not sure it will work, but let's try it out and see how it goes. So I had to wear like a brace for 3 years.
And it was all the time, right?
It was all the time. Like, I had to wear it 23 hours per day. So I only had like 45 minutes to shower, and rest. And it was very challenging, like physically and mentally. And it really taught me how to like live with pain, and how to handle your body and your mind, to be in control of yourself, to be patient. And I never really cared about anyone, like what anybody said. I always like saw the goal and where I was going, so I knew if I wore 23 hours per day, this will give me good results, So I just was super disciplined. Like 23 hours was sharp, because I knew the effect it will have to my future, and like my future relied on this, So I had to stop everything like physical activities, quit the team, and I had to adapt, you know. So it's tough. It's not easy mentally and physically, and you still have to focus and do all the things that a young guy should do, you know. But it was a great experience for me. Like it really builds you, you know, and it really gives you these core values, you
Right.
know, and it makes you focus on the more important stuff. And yeah, it's all about discipline and commitment.
Did you realize at the time what a teaching experience that this would be, or were you just grinding to get through? And then when you looked back, then you're like, wow, this was one of the greatest, and you haven't used these words, but I'm hearing it kind of translate into this was one of the greatest gifts that you were given, even though it didn't feel like a gift. Or did you see it that way at the time?
Like at the time, it wasn't that comfortable, you know, like you're always feeling itchy and you're always in pain because like it's pushing you 24 hours a day. But eventually, like, yeah, as you said, it is a great experience because it builds you. And at the same age, like,
Yeah, 14 to 17 years old.
yeah, and at 13 years old, I started building my interest into self-development. So these things helped me a lot in my journey as well. So I used to live like day by day and just embracing everything, you know, and focusing more on improving myself and becoming a better person every day. So it doesn't matter the circumstances that you go through. You just have to see the bigger picture and see where you're going and just...
Well, here
go
we
there.
are 8 years later from when you were 13 years old.
Yeah.
And you and I have had this conversation several times. You and I share something in common, and it's a passion for learning lots of things, but in specific, how can we be the best version of ourselves?
Yeah.
And not many 13-year-olds even have a concept of self-development or personal growth or anything like that. Was that stimulated from the outside because of your parents' deep involvement in their lives and them creating a better country with the things they're doing in Lebanon? Or was that just something inherent within you? How did that come so early?
Yeah, so it's a combination of both, you know, because my family is like very high achievers and they are very ambitious, and then they translated this to us in a very good way, you know. They never pushed us to do anything, they never forced us to do anything. Instead, they inspired us to do these things, you know, and they showed us like the long-term effect it has on our lives. So we were always very excited to do these things, because like we saw the effect it had on my parents. Like they're both very successful, and the same thing with my brother and sister. So it definitely has a major effect, you know. Plus it had like this thing coming out of me, like this drive to learn more, to improve, to become better. And yeah, at this age I started like buying all these books and reading them.
Who's your favorite?
Like I love Tony Robbins. For
Oh,
example.
me too.
Yeah.
Tony Robbins, go Tony.
Yeah, he's super inspirational, and Gary Vee is great.
Yep.
And there's many names, you know. I don't limit myself to one person. I'm very open to learn from anyone, and actors or even artists, inspirational people, authors. All of these, you can learn so much from them, and now the internet gave us this access to this large amount of information, and so you're unlimited. You don't have a limit to learning,
Yes.
you know. So you can learn literally from anyone. So like 10 years ago or like 20 years ago, you had to go buy, for example, a book and see how he's thinking. Right now, you just go on YouTube and like type in a word. You'll find like thousands of videos to learn from. So it's nice you have like unlimited number of mentors, you know, you can learn from their experiences and things they've been through, and apply them into your life like on a daily basis. So yeah, this is a major effect the internet gave us.
Oh, it's incredible.
Yeah.
Like when I first started my journey, I graduated, and I've shared some of this with you. Some of it'll be new. I graduated from chiropractic school at 24. So I was pretty young, one of the youngest, probably the youngest or second youngest in my class, and came out not knowing what to do other than I'm a doctor and I'm supposed to help people get better, right? And so going through that, it wasn't long after that that I found the personal development space. Once I graduated from college and my mind could shift into other things, somehow one of the first people I ran into was Tony Robbins material, same thing. So
Yeah.
since I was basically just a little bit older than you are right now, that was one of the the keystones. And the more I spent time in it, the more I started feeling like, wow, I have more control of my life than I thought. But it was interesting because back then, as you just said, it was buy books, buy cassette tapes, because CDs hadn't even come out yet, right, at that time, or they were not near as prolific as they were. They were kind of new in the space, but they were doing them, but more cassette tapes were being sold back in the, right at 1990-ish, or go to seminars. Yeah. Those were the three options that we had to learn this kind of information. And so now with what I'm seeing, it's fascinating to me because I can find people to learn from on everything from those three things, which still live, only not this, now we're in CDs or streaming, right? Exactly, of that information. Yeah. But to every platform that has different bite sizes of this thing, from a TikTok that might go 30 seconds to 3 minutes to one of the Instagram or Reels or LinkedIn for 10 minutes, all these different ways of really showing them. So there's no reason why someone who wants to learn, to grow, to get better can't, right? Regardless, they get to choose how they consume it. Is that what you're seeing too?
Yeah, there's no excuse really. Like now you can download a podcast and listen to it on your way to work, on your way back home, while you're working out, while you're in the shower, before sleeping. So there's really no limit and there's no excuse, because like all the information is out there and it comes back to you, and it's your responsibility to learn all these things, and to stay up to date and keep improving yourself, because the things that you mentioned, you can easily get lost in them. Like TikTok, you can easily get lost watching a cat, like
the cat video, famous cat video.
But eventually you will have to stay focused and know what you want to learn at the end of the day, So it's very easy to get distracted, and in this age, like attention spans are down to 2 seconds, So people really lost their focus, and that's why you have to, as a person, stay in control of your mind. And just like the way you go to the gym to work out and to build your physique, you have to build your mind and have this sharp mindset. And this is not easy, it doesn't come by itself. So you have to keep on growing and keep on learning, building your knowledge, and you can learn from literally anyone, like a person walking down the street, to these mentors and inspirational people, to even leaders your leaders at your work, So yeah, there's no limit.
Keeping your eyes and ears open. That's the main thing, I think. What I'm hearing you say, and what's so great for me about this, RJ, is that I see you put this into action. But again, you're so young. You have such an advantage, compared to me in my mid-50s. You in your early 20s put 3 decades of compiled wisdom. It's just like compound interest. If you start investing right now, when you're my age, now you have all that money you've put in, but the compound interest of all that is what's really doing the work for you. That's what's happening in your heart and your soul and your mind and your spirit right now, is that compound interest is going to pay dividends. And so the fact that you're on that path, it fills my heart and my soul because of what you're doing, because you're going to have that positive of an impact, Go ahead.
You're never too early and you're never too late. Like I hear many people say, especially at my age, they tell me wow, you're still young, you still have so much time. But you're never too early, because the sooner you start doing the things that you really enjoy doing, and the sooner you optimize your life and you start living your life to the fullest, the more years you will have eventually. Yes. So you're never too young, and they will keep on telling you you're too young until you're too old,
Right. Isn't that the truth?
So, they always have something to say. So people always like to criticize others. They always like to pinpoint things other people are doing. And it could be good or bad. They always know how to make it the way that you don't want to. So it's really important to stay focused and, don't listen to all the noise around you, and don't listen to all the naysayers who's telling you can't do something, or who are you to do this, because eventually they will all be there once you succeed, and they will find a way to go back and say how they met you, or
that's right. Then all of a sudden, I believed it, I knew it the whole time
from the beginning, they will find somewhere to play to have a role in your life. So I would always say like know what you want in life and just go for it, you know. And
yeah. And you know what I will add to that? Now I'm going to give you a little season from my seasoned years onto what you just said, because it's beautiful. Two things, and as I've just experienced, you don't know how long you have.
Yeah.
You don't know, right? And I'm speaking from experience on that, as you well know. But because you're living your best life right now, what I've seen is you know exactly where you want to go until you know exactly that you want to change course. And that's the beauty of it. Because at one point I thought here's the truth. When I was graduated from chiropractic school, I started treating patients. I love treating patients. And I treated many. And I literally, for the first 5 to 10 years of my practice, thought that the last act I would do on this earth was going to be to deliver an adjustment, help someone's headache or neck pain or back pain, or just help them feel at their best. And when I delivered that final adjustment, then I was good. After they left and they were happy, I was just going to give up the ghost right there on the side of the table, and that would be my life.
Yeah.
That's what I thought, and that's what I wanted until I didn't. Because at some point, something else came over me to said, maybe I can help teach people some of these things so that they can have awesome practices and help more people than what my hands alone can do. And then it moved on to, well, maybe I can work in helping a bunch of practices across the country. And then it became, well, maybe I can change industries. And here we are, right?
Yeah,
and so
definitely.
all these things, by you and anyone listening, staying in the moment of being their best and doing those things and putting the time in, all of a sudden, what's supposed to happen naturally unfolds. It just shows up at the right time because you've done your part and I've done my part. So I love where you're going with this.
Yeah, that's true. And you have to trust the process, you know. And one thing you said, like, you never know what happens. So this makes you always like you should be always grateful, you know, for everything you have and be in the present moment, because, like, you know, we have the tendency to always think of the future or the past. Like, we're stuck in these two, but we never like take the time to enjoy what's happening right now, to enjoy the people we're with right now, you know. Like, you see people hanging out at a restaurant and some of them are on their phone, you know, talking to other people. Like like you have literally 5 people on the table. Like, why don't you communicate with each other, you know? And this moment might never happen again. So yeah, it's really important to be grateful and really enjoy everything that's going on in your life. And yeah, I agree with everything you said. Like, that's super true, you know. Once you start sharing what you learn, and once you share it with the world, and it's the best feeling in the world, especially like you start building very deep connections and you start finding people who think like you and who behave like you, you know. So you'll find your clique and the people you really get along with. So
have you found a lot of those here so far since moving? They say the birds of a feather flock together kind of thing, and that goes in different ways. Like, it could be all athletic stuff, or it could be all emotional development stuff or spiritual stuff. Have you started to over these last handful of months, coalesce a group that just is like-minded like you?
Yeah, like right now I do have few people that are spread around the world, you know, like, and especially with today's communication, it's easy to communicate. And I always aim to meet and create these amazing group of people where you can really share everything, your thoughts, and you know, when everyone really cares for each other and really supports one another and believes, you know, in the other person's dreams or whatever he's working on, you'll have a very supportive system. And it's really amazing to have like a group of people supporting each other and helping each other out. And, you know, like, it's really good, whether it was personal or like if someone started their own business or whatever.
Right. We've seen that here with you, kind of transitioning into your specialty, because now anyone listening knows why you're so great at what you do, because it's always the foundation of the human that creates the lack of limits at the top side of achievement, right? Like, the better of a person you are, the more opportunity you have to do anything that you want in life. The more you restrict yourself as a human and you just get stuck in a certain way, you limit yourself. So you've just opened up and shared so much gold with our watchers and our listeners. I want to now transfer that into how it applies in what you do. You talked about people that really want to see you succeed, people that really want to see you grow. And essentially, you're kind of starting a business within our business, right? You started a new portion of our business we never had before, which is our own digital marketing specialist. I know that Eddie Malouf, we mentioned him once before, he is world-class and rock star at what he does, owns a big digital agency, and he cared enough to invest in you, and he's been putting regular time into you. Share the experience that you've noticed of that mentor thing, because you came out already with a degree in this stuff. Give us, if you can, what it means to have someone with real-world experience at that level help with what you brought. Because I think all of our listeners, it may motivate them to go, man, maybe I need to find a mentor like this, or it may make them say, maybe I want to be a mentor to someone because I have this special skill. So would you talk about that just a bit?
Yeah, definitely. Eddie has been like a really great mentor ever since I got here. And as you said, the real world is much different than what you learn at school, you know? So you learn in university, everything is very theoretical and everything is like technical, but they never teach you what's the real world waiting for you, you know? So he's definitely been a great mentor. I've learned from him like personal stuff and professional stuff. Like you can really learn from him, from anything. And that's a good way if someone's planning to find a mentor. It's really important to find someone who you want to be like in few years, you know, like someone you see yourself in his position, like in few years. And I saw this in Eddie and I saw this in you as well. And being here, like everyone here at Ramos Law, I think the reason everyone's really happy and they love their job is being under great leadership, you know, because leadership plays a major role. It either can break or make someone, especially in the work field. And we've seen many people like hate their jobs because like, you know, their manager or their boss like never gives them credit or always says negative stuff about them or like always sees the bad things they do. They never say like appreciate the good things they do. So being under good leadership is really important for any age and for anyone to be happy. And leadership comes in different ways. It's really believing in other people and the people you work with and appreciating them on a daily basis and, you know, seeing their potential. So yeah, I'm really glad that I had the opportunity to be in such a healthy and positive environment, you know?
Oh, that's great.
Yeah. And
what would you say is when you look at something that you learned from Eddie that did translate, that was all of a sudden like, oh, wow, I didn't expect it like that in school. Like it didn't, theoretically, this was way different, or it really said, that's exactly, now I see. Was there some concept or something that you learned under that tutelage that you said, wow, that really impressed you since doing that?
Yeah, so basically in the digital world, there's no right answer. You know, you always have to try and see how it goes. There's trial and error. There's a lot of it. And you always have to keep on learning and like digging deep into these things to uncover like new stuff, you know, because you can't read about it and you can't watch a video about it. You actually have to do it and see how it goes. And there's a lot of pressure and there's a lot of like things that might be working one day and then the other day it just, you know,
evaporates,
exactly. So yeah, it's a place you have to always be like up to date, be very like detail oriented and make sure just like everything's working, you know, because like if you go back to school or like university, you know, they don't teach you the technical stuff. They don't tell you like how bad you might fail or what to do if you fail, you know. They just teach you theories and things that have been there for like years and years, and they don't put you like in the actual under pressure in the moment, yeah, where you're there and you're doing something, and when you know something turns out bad and you have like 1 hour to fix it and then have it back running again, you know. So yeah, this is definitely something you learn once you start, you know, working in the workplace.
Mm-hmm. So what about, so let's now take some of your expertise and share it with our audience. So you focus on all platforms. So you're not focusing on helping us with TV ads, radio ads necessarily. That's not where you do. It's the digital world, but it's all platforms. And so if someone were let's pretend even this, instead of being an entrepreneur right now, let's just say someone wants to get their message out there. They want to be an influencer. So many young folks today, right? That's what they want to do. They want to be out there. How do they get their brand, their personal brand, or their message out in some simple ways that they might benefit from?
Yeah, so now all these platforms are free and anyone have access to them, so and it went down to really anyone can create his own brand and anyone can do anything, and it's not limited to any field or any something they do. Like literally anyone can be there on social media and make it big. So that's a cool thing, because it doesn't put limits on you. So whether you work in chocolate, or you have a passion for cars, let's say, or you're a doctor or a lawyer or whatever, you have the opportunity and you have a voice on these platforms. And with the rise of TikTok and all these like Instagram, so people are creating much more content and they're putting their themselves out there, and they're finding people who are actually interested in what they have to offer, So so you just have to create content and be yourself, be authentic. Don't try to be someone else, because people can sense these things. They sense when someone is being authentic or fake, and once you're passionate about something and you're talking about it, people are gonna see it and they're gonna be attracted to your brand and to your page. So they might follow because either they align with what you say, or you inspire them in some way, or you just entertain them. So it's either they're either learning from you or you're entertaining them.
Yes.
And
you can do both, right? The best people, I love what you said, entertain or inspire or educate. Those are the three things that I really, really think that you do a great job of helping us do here at the law firm, because not every personality is designed to entertain.
Yeah.
Right? Some people are natural entertainers, but others are they're really about the facts. They're really about the information. Like if we looked at our PhD head of the medical sciences division, Dr. Don Cooper, that guy is not going to do any stand-up routines, right? But if you want to know about anything with respect to certain physiological things or vaccine injuries or that kind of stuff, as far as educating, that's his specialty. So when someone's out there giving a message, if you can combine entertainment, education, and inspiration in some combination of those two or three, that's awesome. But if you can't, that's still not a reason not to get yourself and your message out there for you, your business, whatever it might be, your cause, right? Your nonprofit, your charity, but just do it in a way that's, like you said, authentic to you. Is that what you found to be most successful?
Yeah, definitely. And let's talking about TikTok, for example. It started out as a younger generation, but it grew up really, really fast, and it still has this. Some people still think it is that way, but really it's for everyone now, and everyone from all ages. People are there, and actually seniors are being very respected on the platform and seen as as great people to learn from, because they share their stories, they share things they've been through. So it's really for everyone, and yeah, you don't have to do some crazy things. You can just do your thing, just
right.
To talk about a specific topic, share it in a very engaging way, and people will be interested eventually, because you will have your niche. It's really important to find your niche and just talk about it. And on TikTok you have everyone there. Same thing for all other platforms, and you're really not limited to one specific type of people. So I find it really cool, because the world is your limit. If we're here in Denver, a person in China might be watching my video,
So
and having the same thoughts or same effect. And that's really cool to know that you can communicate and inspire and learn from people from all around the world. And that's the major benefit of social media. And we should tap more into this, because I hear so many people say mainly parents, they don't let, for example, their kids use cell phones at till the age of 15 or 16, or they limit their use of social media, but you never know what they're doing. You should always inspire them to be their best, but on social media you should always guide them to the right path where they can learn and where they can grow themselves. personally or professionally. And social media is the best way now. And if you're not there, like, you're missing out a lot business, and you're missing out a lot on learning.
So true. I'll share this. I don't do a lot of social media currently, but I went through a period of about 2.5 years where I posted every single day. And I put posts, and they were all about what you and I talked about on the first half of our show, which was, positive impact and personal development, things that I had been learning, people I had met, things I'd seen. And I just wanted to put a message out there with no other intention but to say, I hope it helps someone.
Yeah.
And what I found was that as I was consistent in my message, it did have some positive impact on people. And it was a lovely, lovely experience for, like I say, I think about 2.5 years. I maybe missed 3 days, 5 days maybe in that whole time.
But that's amazing. Like,
it was
like, it's very few people can commit to this amount of time, and
it was
stay
awesome.
Consistent. Yeah,
it was awesome. And there are reasons that I discontinued for the time being, that we can go through sometime. But at the end of the day, what you say rings so true, where I noticed that when I was giving my heart and being authentic, that I got some pushback on some of my messages, which I expected, because if not, then I don't want everyone to agree with me. But that when the feedback of people saying thank you, that's exactly what I needed today. It really, really warmed my heart. And so for all of you out there listening or watching, if you have something to say and you want people to hear it or see it, it's the easiest, cheapest, best way to do that. You just got to be okay with, number one, putting yourself out there, and number two, understanding people will give you pushback, and how do you handle that? So Let's bring that question up. If someone gives you negative feedback, what do you suggest?
You know why most people are afraid to post on social media or share something online? They're afraid of being judged by others. They're afraid of how other people might think of them. They're afraid of these negative comments, And as Gary Vee said, like, we tend to overvalue the good things and the bad things. If you just give the same energy on the good things as the bad things, the negative stuff, you'll be happy. So many people tend to focus more on the negative things they get on social media, and they don't focus on all the great stuff they've been exposed to. And the best way to handle these things is to actually listen to what they're saying, And most people who hate come from pain, and they're going through something in their life. So you gotta have empathy and see where they're coming from. And secondly, you don't have to listen to all these negative people, because as I said before, people are gonna talk about you, whether you do something good or do something bad. They will always have something to say about you. So this will limit you and will limit your success, and being afraid of being judged by others can limit you in so many ways. You will stop doing the things that you want to do. You will stop going out and seeing different stuff because you're afraid of how people might perceive you. So you have to have the courage to go out there and do your thing and be yourself, And once you make peace with yourself and you actually know who you are, no one can break you, No one can break you, because you've already dealt with the inner devil, if you want, and you know the good and bad. So whatever someone comes and tells you, all right, that's cool. I know this,
Mm-hmm.
Or I made peace with this, So yes, you shouldn't be too concerned about what other people have to say about you.
And how often should we're talking about organic work right now. We're not talking about paid ads, which we can shift to in a minute. But in this organic posting, Gary Vee, who we're both big fans of, he's like, hey, if you can get, 20 posts a day, get it done.
Yeah.
Have you seen anything from your perspective, whether it's working with, any of the other groups you worked with prior to us, all your school stuff, and now working with us? Is there a minimum that you see? And it might be different by platform, but if someone says, how much is too much if I'm posting, or how much do I got to do to make an impact? What would you say to that?
There's no minimum, and there's no maximum. And it might be, one video might be equal to 5 videos, it's about quality and what you say. And you can post one video and does really well, and you can post 5 videos, 10 videos. So it really comes down to how much you can make per day and how much you can create to stay like consistent.
Yeah, and relevant, right?
Yeah,
like,
and
you
relevant.
Can't go
like,
too long, or they're like, who?
Yeah, like you can't create, like some people get too excited, they create 10 videos at the spot and then they just get lazy, you know. You have to find a way to make balance and stay consistent and see the long run. So yeah, to get back to your question, there's really no limit, you know. All these people tells you like post like 5 posts per day, 1 at each hour, like it just doesn't work that way anymore. You know, it really comes down to the quality of your content and how much value you're adding to people's lives.
And creating your tribe, right? Like,
yeah, your
because,
niche.
Yeah, it's interesting. Niche. I was listening to a podcast this morning, and this is a physical therapist. He was on Andrew Huberman's show, which I'm a big fan of that podcast. So this PT's on there, and he's awesome, and he's got videos out there with 30 million views on them of different exercises and things like that. But because he's creating an audience, a community, a tribe, that then he becomes a trusted advisor or an authority. So whenever we have messages, those messages, we're not necessarily trying to reach the world all at one time. We want to build our community and our connections and let that start organically growing, right? As opposed to saying, my message is for everybody, because no message is for everybody.
Exactly. No message is for everybody. And yeah, you can't like, just like any business, you know, it's never for anyone. You have to start somewhere with a niche or a group of people, and finding your niche is one of the most important things while starting your personal brand or your business. Or,
how do you do that?
Or whatever.
How would someone find their niche?
Like, it depends on what you're talking about, you know. It depends on what field you're into. So let's say you're in self-development, your niche would be people who are looking to improve their lives, people who are interested in learning and growing, people who are interested in improving themselves. You know, if you're someone who works out and you post content of you like giving tips, gym tips, or like working out tips, your niche would be people who work out, you know, and who go to the gym and who are actually on this platform looking to learn.
And do they find each other by typing in keywords? So let's say I love bunny rabbits, and I'm all about the rabbit. And so I know about them. I train rabbits, whatever that means. I breed rabbits. I have all these things about rabbits. I start putting out content. Do people type in, I want to learn about rabbits, and that's how they find me? Or do I put out content and do something to go searching for those people? Yeah,
so the algorithm play a major role in this. It's really smart. And whenever you create an account and you start posting video, it will put you in one of the niches, you know? And that's why they say, like, it's better to always have a niche and not talk about just anything, you know. And it will put you in these categories, and it will start pumping your videos into people who watch similar videos, you know. So talking about animals or rabbits, you know, like it will start showing people who actually watch these videos, and the algorithm can say like how they interact with the video, how they engage with it. If they watch the whole video till the end, they watch it twice, they liked, shared it, you know. All of these things play a major role. And these things, like, this is how the algorithm works, and this is how it will start showing other people's content to you. And it's really tailored to every person. So the For You page, for example, it really does, to a certain extent, it does show you relevant stuff to you, you know, because you're interested in these stuff. And
I know YouTube is ridiculous.
Yeah,
I watch one
really
YouTube
smart
thing on whatever, and if I change directions from what I normally, because I spend time on YouTube every day, self-development, like what we're talking about, or exercise or something.
Yeah.
And when I hit on Qigong, which is something I've been playing with recently, the next morning, it's all kinds of Qigong. Then if I go to fitness, the next morning, it's all kinds of fitness with some Qigong. Those things are ridiculous.
Yeah, this was the breakthrough for YouTube. Like at first, you had to subscribe for people to, you know, for them to see your videos, or you had to start them up. But after they switched to like recommendations, and once you watch this video, it will recommend this video. This was the breakthrough, and this changed the whole game. And I find it really useful, you know, because like you want to watch relevant things.
Yes.
You know, you don't want to watch like things you're not interested in. And same thing for the ads. Like some people are afraid of like, you know, tracking or like privacy. But I believe that they're really showing you relevant stuff to you and things you might need in your life. So why not, you know?
Yeah. Well, let's move to that. Paid ads.
Yeah.
If someone has a desire to run paid ads for their business, whatever that might be, are there certain elements that they should have in an ad to make it as successful as possible?
It depends on the platform and it depends on the business. So once you start advertising, you really have to understand the behavior of people on every platform, because like the same person behave in a different way on every platform. And you know that like when you're on TikTok, you're just looking for entertainment maybe, you know, or on YouTube, you just want to have fun. But someone on Twitter is looking to more maybe into politics or more into reading stuff, you know.
Or LinkedIn, they're into their,
more
jobs.
sharing their professional career stuff and like professional experience. So you really have to understand people's behavior on every platform. And once you have that done, you will know like which platforms you should advertise on and which platforms you will do good, you know, which fits your brand and your brand personality. So any ad should be like, if you're talking like on Instagram or TikTok, let's say, they should be really not entertaining in a way that you're making something fun, but like very catchy, very they should have like a hook in the beginning, because like as we said, like people's attention span went down really bad. So if you don't get their attention like the first few seconds, you might lose a potential client. So they should be very informative, and you should like deliver your brand message and what you're selling, you know. And so yeah,
that's important. So if I hear you saying this, and we'll kind of summarize this, for our organic stuff, we want to be authentic.
Yeah.
We want to give information that is either entertaining, inspiring, or educational. And then when we're taking that to an ad, we want to continue on with the theme of being authentic, but then we want to use captions or images or something to make someone stop and see that. And sometimes a post can become an ad, right? Like a really good post had a lot of engagement. Then that business or that person could make that into an ad because their audience liked it, and they showed, wow, this is a little sample.
Yeah.
These people loved it. We're going to take this now. Now we're going to put some money behind it and see what happens to the general universe of people, if you will.
Yeah, that's really important. You have to see what's working or what's not, you know. And that's why like we usually create a large set of ads, and we just launch them and see which one does best. Some people might like relate to one post, one ad, and not the other, you know. Other people might relate to this one. So you should really create like as much as you can and put them out there. And there's not like a set rule, you know. You just have to stay true to your brand and to what you're selling. And that's really important.
That is critically important. And this has been an important conversation, Rami-Joe. I will tell you this right now. You made Mr. and Mrs. Najd and all the family members back home proud. This is probably going to go national in Lebanon. That's how good this was. The information you gave, you made everybody and us here at Ramos Law so proud. I have a final question for you, and it is this. Is there one piece of advice that you've gotten or learned along the way in your 21 years so far that has just really been something that has been an anchor for you?
Well, I have 3 mantras I live by.
Oh, good. Yeah.
Yeah. The first one is enjoy the process. And I always say this, whatever you're doing and wherever you are in life, just enjoy the process and enjoy what you're doing, you know, because as humans, we always tend to connect like things to what's next. You know, I will be happy once I get this job. I will be happy once I move here, once I get a raise, or, you know. So, and once you get these things, you will realize that, no, I'm not happy. Then you create a new goal for yourself, you know. So people are always on this chasing happiness or chasing like purpose. Whatever, if you put yourself in the moment and just enjoy the process and enjoy whatever you're doing and see the positive impact it might have on your life, this is life changing, you know, because you might be doing something you don't enjoy, you know, or you don't like, but if you see the bigger picture, you'll see how much like it will have a positive impact on your life. The second one is it's a quote by Jim Rohn. He said, "You don't get what you want, you get what you deserve."
Ooh, good one.
Yeah, this is a really good one. So if you want something, no one's gonna come and give it to you, you know, on silver plate. You have to actually work yourself to it, and you have to put yourself out there, get out of your comfort zone, and do the work that it requires, you know. So you can't just lay back and say, I want this, and just keep dreaming about it. Like dreaming without goals is nothing. And goals without actions, it's just,
Yeah.
it's just paper.
Wishes.
Yeah, just wishes, exactly. And the third one is this one. My mom told it like I was preparing for a presentation, and my mom said it to me. It's like a quote by Benjamin Franklin, and she said, "If you fail to prepare, you are preparing to fail. If you fail to prepare, you are preparing to fail." And this moment just stick with me like my whole life, and I remember it like in whatever I'm doing something or like preparing for something, a big event or anything, or even the small daily things. If you fail to prepare for this, you'll actually like fail.
You're setting it up for it not to work.
Exactly.
Oh man, that is three mantras.
Three things I live by every day, and
I can see why you're doing so well, because those are three incredible mantras. And I'm telling you, Rami-Joe, you have been just such a blessing to our business, a blessing to our lives, a blessing to me personally. Right. And I tell you, this goes out to your mom and dad. I got him. I'm taking care of him. Okay. I promise I'm taking care of him, whatever he needs. And you are just so good to have here, man. And I know people listening and watching have gotten better. They're better humans, and they're better at what they do by listening to this. In fact, you may want to listen to it more than once. And speaking of which, if you've enjoyed this, please share it. Send it somewhere. Someone needs to hear this message. We believe in making a difference here. That's the name of the show. And we bring people on that are doing that. And this particular episode, I think, was not only fascinating, but incredibly important. So if you know someone who could use this message of hope and life-building lessons, please send it their way. And if you have any questions, please reach out to us here at Ramos Law. So Rami-Joe, thanks. It was such a pleasure. And now we can get back to work and make all this stuff into reality.
Yep. It's always a pleasure talking to you, and I always learn something from you. So
well, thank you.
So yeah, thank you for being an amazing mentor and leader.
I appreciate that. Thank you. Have a great day, everybody. We'll see you next week.